There we are. Takes a while to set everything up. Hey, Jane, this is going to be a short one today. My clothes are in the washer in the laundry room, and I'm waiting for somebody's dryer to finish. So I've got the timer set down below. How are you doing, Jane? Thank you for the red hearts. Hey, Jay. Yeah, it's going to be a short one today. It's laundry day. I'm waiting for a dryer. So I have to go out to the laundry room in like 30 minutes or less. So it's going to be very super short. But I don't want to forget about Miss Nancy here. It's day number 103. I'm hearing quite a few different things today. Oh, I know that feeling, Jay. I've heard quite a few things today, and it's worth making a few points. I don't have as much to talk about as I did yesterday. That was a really good video yesterday. At least I thought so. It went well. But there's a few things I'm hearing about Sheriff Nanos, Bananos, no Nads, whatever you want to call them. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to come in, and then we're just going to get this thing going quick because I do want to get out there. I don't want the clothes to be sitting in the washing machine wet. And then other people are like, hey, I can't use the machine. uh, I don't think he's gone yet. Not that I know of. I haven't heard that today. 9 people. Let's get it up a little bit more, people. Let's get the total up. Then I can just start this. Be a real quickie today. I know, apartment living. Yeah. 22 people. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a quick one. I'm April Davis, PI. I'm a licensed private investigator in Los Angeles, California. I am doing a true crime series on the missing Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old mom of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. Today, sadly, is day number 103. I did a pretty long video yesterday. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Also, I keep telling everybody, if you haven't seen my Nancy Guthrie suspect video, to go check that out under the long form video tab. Just click videos and you'll see it right close to the top. Today, I'm hearing quite a bit either about Nanos or from Nanos. Apparently, he's now saying in the press that the case is going well. He expects that they will solve it soon, but he does admit, which is kind of shocking, he does admit that at the beginning of the case, it was a mess. Now, he also denies that he waited 4 days to bring in the FBI. He claims that the FBI was involved in this case from day one. Now, the FBI is kind of keeping quiet about it. So who do you believe? Was it 4 days? Is it 1 day? There's always contradictions from that guy. How many days did they wait to bring in the FBI? Remember, they thought they just had a missing person. But then when they found the blood, which they didn't find right away, apparently, then they realized, oh, we better call the homicide team. Now, they didn't get the ransoms until Monday or Tuesday. So I heard the news agencies got them on Monday. TMZ got them on Tuesday. There's no way to confirm for sure about the news agencies. But why take 4 days to get the FBI involved? And then it seems like they're working on two opposite ends of the track, like this is my side, this is your side. They've got a line down the middle, like you don't cross over on my side and I'm not going to cross over on yours. They should all be working together. Every law enforcement agency in the state of Arizona should be coming together. They should have the FBI. They should have Pima County sheriffs. Maybe they could get help from the Tucson Police Department, which is a separate agency. They originally brought in Border Patrol regarding the dogs, but that was only one night. So, oh, hey, Rita. Hey, Jamie. As I said earlier, if you weren't here, this has to be very short because I'm tackling laundry today, and I'm just waiting for a dryer to become available. So, uh, hey, Joe Wells, welcome in. Blood on front porch. How on earth was it possibly missed? Apparently, they didn't discover it right away. But see, we don't know the timeline, and that's what I want to talk about today, because I've heard two timelines as far as when Nancy didn't show up for church, which we now know was her friend's house. When did that friend who invites, her friends over to watch the live stream of Savannah's church in Manhattan, when did she call Annie and Tommaso? When did Annie and Tommaso go over there? Because I hear they only live like at most 10 minutes away. Maybe they're closer than that. But now today, I've heard on another YouTube channel that there's a discrepancy with when they came over, and they may have waited about an hour before they got there. I'm also hearing two different timelines that they called 911 within a few minutes, or they called 911 almost an hour later. Like they didn't call until noon, but they got there at 11:05. Like, I'm not saying that this is true, but there's these conflicting, there's two sets of timelines in this case. As far as, when the lady from the neighbor who was her friend who was going to host the online church service, when did she call the family? When did the family actually physically drive over there and arrive at the house? When did they call the cops? How come there was so much time apparently before Annie contacted Savannah, and Savannah said, "Is anything wrong?" And she said, "Yeah, mom is missing." And then Savannah was like, call 911. Well, we did call the hospitals, because they noticed that the doors and the back were propped open, and perhaps maybe someone took her out in the middle of the night, like an ambulance or paramedics or the fire department. But the whole thing seemed strange. Uh, there's just too many gaps and too many contradictory timelines. And a lot of people are getting upset that the sheriff's department is not releasing that 911 call. Well, there's a reason, because that 911 call is a piece of evidence in a criminal investigation. And there's obviously something on that 911 call that they don't want the general public to hear. Uh, I think we are going to hear it someday, especially if somebody gets arrested for this, and then they roll on the other perps that are probably involved in this. I think one's going to go down, and then that one person is going to take the whole rest of the group down. I wish that one person would turn themselves in now, because you will be caught. If you're involved in this, you will be caught. Turn yourself in now. Then you won't maybe get the death penalty. Maybe you'll just spend, 25 years in prison if you turn yourself in now. Call 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can also call the Pima County Sheriff's Department, or you can call Crime Stoppers. Does anybody have that number? Crime Stoppers. Yes, they should turn themselves in. Call now. It's, you know, they are getting closer. I'm even at the point now where I am thinking that they may already have their prime suspect in mind, and they're just in the process of gathering more evidence until they nail the last nail, or they hammer the last nail into that person's coffin, or coffins plural. I think they may already have a suspect or suspects, and they're just gathering more evidence. Remember, this is not just a local case to Tucson, Arizona, and it's not just a nationwide case. People are watching all over the world. I've had people come to my channel from Australia, New Zealand, Italy, Germany, Africa, the UK, Mexico, Canada, Syria, Iran, Israel. Uh, Even somebody came in claiming to be from Palestine. Uh, I can't even name all the countries. Australia here. Well, welcome in, Australia. Uh, Somebody wrote me last night from New Zealand, and wrote me in the comments and said they really are enjoying my video series on this, and that this is a big case, not just in the United States. Oh, thank you for the star. Let me give you a little hype for that. Mostly dolls, helicopters. Thank you so much. This lady from New Zealand wrote and said, this is a big case, even in New Zealand. I was shocked to hear that. Uh, yeah, Joyce says, April's telling the truth. Turn yourself in. I really do think that they may already have a suspect. And handsome man says it is a big case from day one in Australia. Yeah, most people don't know this, but Savannah Guthrie was actually born in Australia because she was the daughter of a mining engineer. And I guess her dad worked international. And I believe the family was living in Australia at the time of Savannah's birth. And I know when she was only 16, her father was on another job in Mexico where he passed. So, mining engineers, they get around. I'm the daughter of an engineer. I have two cousins, or actually three, that are engineers, and engineers travel a lot. They see the world, engineers. So Savannah, I would assume she has dual citizenship in the United States and Australia, but I found that very interesting because I didn't know that about Savannah until I started reporting on this case that she was actually born in Melbourne, Australia. But it was very interesting for me to hear from somebody from New Zealand saying that it's a very big case there. Uh, you know, I knew it was big here in the entire United States. I've had people, like I said, coming in from all over the world, and I'm a very small YouTuber. The total has gone up today. Let me check where we are. We're at 2863 subs right now. I'm trying to get it to 3,000 before the end of May. Savannah should come to Australia for a holiday. Maybe she will. But this all has to be handled. And speaking of Savannah, people are people are nagging or ragging on her about, like, how could she agree to do a game show at a time like this? Well, this game show was already in the works long before Nancy's disappearance. And in fact, she had already filmed the pilot and apparently showed that pilot to her mother in December. And she was willing to back out and let them find a different hostess because she had to come to Arizona, not knowing how long she would be in Arizona. I'm sure she didn't expect the case to go on this long. And the executive producer, Jimmy Fallon, said, we will wait for you. We will wait as long as we need. So, yeah, Leanne, or hello, Leanne. Jay says contracts. I'm thinking the same thing. She had already agreed to do it. Jimmy Fallon, he was a stand-up guy and said, "We'll wait as long as we have to." And one thing I'm hearing about that show today, which completely shocked me, Handsome says one of the perpetrators is Sheriff Nanos. Did you not know? As yeah, well, we don't talk. I don't name suspects on my YouTube channel, but I do have a video, which I think you would be very interested in if you go to the video tab about the list of suspects. Today, it was announced that the show, and this, like I said, this is really shocking to me because it's not a movie; it's just a TV game show. But it's going to film in Manchester, England. Now, remember, Savannah was supposed to go to Italy for the Olympics. She had had a vocal cord surgery in January, was just recovering from that, was going to go to Italy for the Olympics the same Monday that she ended up having to go to Tucson to help find her mother because he refuses to update us. It's not unusual for law enforcement not to update in a big case, a criminal case, a missing person that's presumed now to be a homicide, especially involving somebody famous where they've got to dot the I's and cross the T's. Um, he was updating too much at the beginning, and people were criticizing him for that, including me, because he should have been boots on the ground leading the troops instead of being a media star. So I'm kind of glad that he's not saying much at this point. Maybe he should do a recap once a month, but he's got to be careful what he says as the family, because I think they know more than what they're saying too. That's why all of Savannah's pleas for help have been scripted. And speaking of that, she did a really cool Instagram video this past Mother's Day. And I really enjoyed it. It just made me weepy eyed, let me tell you. But yet, did you notice that Annie, she didn't go online and make a video about her missing mom and how much they miss her? It's like Savannah's leading the charge. What about Annie? Like, how come she's not coming forward? How come Annie Tomaso, who live in Tucson, they're not beating the drum to the neighbors, just beg for help? Our mother is missing. Please help us find her. Why are they hiding? Why did they show deceit and shame when they came out in their car with the hoodies over their heads, blocking their faces with their hands? I'm a PI for 42 years. I've interviewed thousands of people. I've solved, probably at least 1,000 missing persons cases. I've worked some celebrity kidnapping cases. I've worked dozens of homicides. You don't act like that when you want to find your mother. You don't show deceit and shame by their actions. It's just, I have a problem with that. And I'm not naming them as suspects because go ahead and watch my suspect video. Everything is on the table here. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Um, Not reporting to us does not make him a perpetrator. Of course, Jay, you're right. I'm glad that the updates have slowed down. He just needs to be concentrating on investigating the case. But yet at the beginning, he was at a spa. Supposedly, he was at a basketball game. He was dealing with the death of his brother. He was on all these networks, becoming a media star. Just forget that. Just solve the case. Penny says his problem is that he is always changing what he says. Exactly. That's why we have these multiple timelines of what happened on Sunday morning, February 1st. Nanos needs to go. Yes. Why are Annie Tomaso not coming up and talking, wanting to people to search for their mother? Not only are they not coming forward, begging for help or handing out flyers or organizing search parties and hiding, but they're actually now, the rumor is that they have told multiple neighbors to stop talking. Why, when you're trying to find your missing mother, would you go to your neighbors and tell them to keep their mouth shut? What? Then they complained about the YouTubers in the area, and the YouTubers weren't on their property. And then the sheriff's department, they had to beef up patrol in the Catalina foothills because they didn't want anybody crossing over to Nancy's house or Annie Tomaso's house. Screw Annie Tomaso's house. I believe there should have been sheriffs there at Nancy's house from the beginning, and the crime scene should have never been released. I mean, that was just wrong. And that's really going to come to haunt them or bite them in the rear end when they get somebody, especially if it's through DNA, and they're like, hey, the house was open to half of Tucson, half the country, half the United States seems to have visited that house and stood on that property and taken pictures. You put caps on when you don't want to be identified. Yeah, let's hide. Don't look at me. Like, yeah, the YouTubers are doing more than most others. I agree. Whether you follow those YouTubers, you like them, you love them, they hate them, they're the boots on the ground. They're finding clues in this case. Uh, I can't go there. I just can't. Um, I wish I could. I'm physically not well enough to do so. Also, I could get accused of conducting an investigation out of state, even though I'm not investigating the case. I would love just to go there as a YouTuber and stand across the street, but I wouldn't step foot on that property. I definitely wouldn't, touch anything or put my feet on that property. Uh, People have to have, respect. Cliff, pull your hat down, put on gloves, and try to cover cameras. I know. And then they're going to hiding. And then, more recently, the rumor is they've been telling the neighbors to shut the F up and don't talk to anybody about this case. What do you mean don't talk to anybody? Shout it at the top of the mountain. Where's my mother? Help me find my mother. Savannah, she made the Mother's Day tribute video, which was beautiful. Have you heard anything from Annie or Tommaso? Just They just were like, leave us the F alone. Don't don't look at me. Don't think about us. Don't come near our house. You neighbors, don't you be bad neighbors and talk to the cops or talk to the neighbors or talk to the YouTubers. I mean, what's going on? Handsome says the Juice subscribers rose to 16,000 in 3 weeks, and he is out there every night to get his total to 20. Well, good for him. Yeah, I've heard nice things about him. Uh, Totally innocent behaviors. Everybody deserve more investigating. Yeah, we're not saying that they're the suspects here or that they're the guilty parties. Okay. Uh, but if Tommaso is involved, then then I believe Annie is too, because they would have the most to gain from this, financially speaking. And there's all the rumors. And now apparently, I heard a story today. The sheriff Nanos got mad at the county assessor's office for giving information to the feds. Like, what? Like, if the FBI is going to the Pima County Sheriff or the Pima County Assessor's Office asking for information, cooperate. Why would the sheriff then come in and say, no, 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 you did bad? I don't want the feds asking questions with the assessor. I don't want the assessor of Pima County sharing information with the FBI. Do you not want the case solved? Is that why you released the crime scene in 20 hours? Now, some people are saying 30, but are they counting from the time the police arrived? Or are they counting from the time that she was last seen there? Are they counting from the time that the doorbell was compromised? Where are they getting the 20-hour versus the 30-hour timeline? Why are there two different timelines as to when Annie and Tommaso got the call from the lady that was hosting the church service in her home? And then when did they leave to go and arrive at Nancy's house to look for her? When did they call 911? Why was there apparently quite a bit of delay in them contacting Savannah? You know, get your timelines right. This is all going to come up in trial if somebody gets arrested for this. This is all going to be important. When did this happen? When did that happen? Especially if somebody in the family ends up getting arrested. These are very important questions to be asking. Uh, Cliff Bond says, no, I'm not talking about the family. I mean everyone. Okay. Barbara Moore, welcoming. Yes, Brian Enton spoke on that. Graham Marsden, is there any, I don't know what that means. Uh, is that something good or bad? Let me know in the chat. Does anybody see something that's inappropriate? I don't know what that is, so we're just going to take that out. That's a weird one. Remind me to look that up when I'm done with the laundry. Handsome. That is why I said he is involved earlier as a possible perp besides the one with the face mask. Yeah, I still believe that I know the person in the face mask. And I've called that into the FBI twice. And it adds perfectly with other things that I know about this case. And we've talked about this. Remember, go see my suspect video. Everybody here is innocent until proven guilty. I've got 6 minutes left before I have to close this out and go tend to the laundry and then wait some more time. Hopefully the person that's ahead of me will have removed their clothes from the dryer by the time I get there. And I knew like a ton of people would come in on the day that I have to have a very, very short video. MVU thanks for your great podcast, April. Well, thank you for coming. I hope you're subscribed. I'm trying to get my subscribers up to 3,000. I'm a very small YouTuber. Please help me get that number up. Hit those likes, send those hearts across the screen. Handsome Man says to Jay, because money is involved where ransom payout can be shared. Of course it can be shared. Remember Derek Kaia. Thank you for the gold coin. Mostly dolls, helicopters. Remember Derek? Hey, what about the Bitcoin? Did you get the Bitcoin? I'd like to finish the transaction. He had the personal cell numbers of Annie and Tommaso. Almost sounded like a business transaction. Hey, Kathy Mallory. This is a very short one today because it's laundry day and the laundry room is backed up and I'm waiting for someone else so I can go put my clothes into the next dryer. So anybody that wants to say anything, you need to say it now. Hey, Sharon Hill, welcome in. Police can have the money. I don't think so. Uh, somebody actually wrote me, and I couldn't believe this on one of the videos, and I haven't responded to that comment. Like, well, why aren't they turning in the body so that they can get the money? Like, well, if you know where the body is, you probably know because you're involved in some way. So I don't think they're going to give you the reward money if you're one of the guilty parties. Let's go, commit a major crime so that we can get the reward money and then, spend the rest of our life in prison. I think 6 million in Bitcoin would go a long way, paying for your potato chips out of the commissary in the prison. I mean, come on. I mean, that was actually a question that I got. Handsome, have a lovely evening. It is morning here, Friday morning. Thank you for coming in, Australia. Jane Rice says, night all. Barbara says, body hid, good few searchers and not found. Well, let's get a search going. I'm serious, Mvu. Like, seriously, somebody came in and asked me that. Like, well, how come they just don't, the people, why don't they just return the body and get the reward? Like, what? Oh, boy. And I'm not going to, make fun of them, but yeah. Um, Australia, the flying kangaroo. Exactly. That's on Qantas, the flying kangaroo. Yeah, we get the A380 every day from Australia over here. It's pretty cool. Nano said no searching. Yeah, he doesn't want people searching. Just like Annie and Tommaso, they don't want anybody talking to the neighbors. Or no, they don't want the neighbors talking to anybody, like the press. Does that mean the police and the FBI? Stop talking, neighbors. Stop talking about trying to find our missing mother. Did they say anything? Did they make a statement for Mother's Day? Nope. Savannah did. So I don't think the cops said, hey, don't say anything for Mother's Day about your mother. Because Savannah made a really nice video. All Annie Tommaso have done is hide their faces. And if you got nothing to hide or be ashamed of, why are you hiding? I mean, I know you're going through a really difficult time if you're not involved, but why are you hiding? Get your rear ends out of that house. Throw a press conference. Show some real tears. Barbara Moore, I'm in Mississippi or I'd try to be out there. Yeah, I wish I was 20 years younger and I could just go. Hello, cat lady, welcome in. That's very possible, handsome man. Even if she doesn't know it consciously, but she knows it subconsciously, Savannah knows Annie Tommaso is involved. Maybe. She fled back to New York. Thank you for your video yesterday. Yeah, I enjoyed yesterday's video. I'm sorry today's is going to be so short. If I have to take the phone with me because the code to scan the dryer, like the app to scan the dryer, is in the phone. So thank you everybody for coming. I wish it could be longer. If you didn't see the beginning of this, just go back and watch the replay. And everybody, please subscribe, like the video, share the channel. Thank you, everybody. Good night.